Namaste and welcome back to your mat. My name is Jillian, and in this video we will be lengthening out our muscles, especially after a workout. So together we'll take a deep inhale, scoop the arms up overhead, and exhale, bring your hands down through heart center. Again, inhale, reach the arms up, palms touch. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, one more. Exhale to let it go. Drop your hands and place them on your knees, and just take a couple more deep, full belly breaths. Inhaling nice and slow, and exhaling, letting every last drop go. Place your right hand beside you and sweep the left arm up overhead. Gaze can come beside the bicep, so you can feel a nice deep side stretch here. Keep the left hip planted as you reach your fingertips over. Slowly come back up to rise and switch sides. Lean to the left, letting your right arm come up overhead. You can bring your gaze around your bicep up towards the sky. Root down the right hip. Rise up back to neutral. Inhale, scoop the arms up. Exhale, twist over to the right side. Right hand behind you, left hand to your right knee. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale to twist a little bit more. Inhale, bring the arms up, palms touch. Exhale to bring the hands in front of you, interlace your fingers, and press your palms forward. Open between the shoulder blades, bring the gaze towards the belly button. Inhale, bring the arms up again. And this time, exhale, twist over to the left side. Left hand behind you, right hand to left thigh. Breathing. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to twist. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, interlace your fingers behind you and press your fingers towards the ground, or you can lift your hands away from your back. Open across the heart, open across the shoulders. And then without snapping back like an elastic, release your hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop the hands to your shoulders, thumbs behind you, and start to make tiny little circles about the size of a dime. Gradually getting bigger, taking your time until we can find the full range of motion, warming up the shoulders. And then switch directions, keeping with that full range of motion and gradually getting smaller. Once you've reached stillness, bring your hands back to your lap and bring your toes and heels to touch for butterfly pose. Ease yourself into a comfortable position, and you can feel a gentle stretch in the inner thighs. Breathing in. Exhale, fold over the legs, rounding the back. In today's class, we will be holding stretches for quite a few breaths. So in the silence, I encourage you to meditate and sit with with any sensations and breathe through any discomfort. Whenever you find a little bit more space, pull the feet in closer to you to deepen the stretch. Slowly roll up to a seated position and make your way into a tabletop, stacking shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Empty out your lungs and take a deep inhale, lowering your belly, lifting the gaze. Exhale to round the back, gaze to the belly button. Inhale to come forward, lift your chest. And exhale to press up with the back opening between the shoulder blades. Press the tailbone forward. Move through a couple more of these cat-cows using your own breath to guide you. Moving as slowly or as quickly as you'd like here. Return to a neutral spine. Bring your elbows to your sides and find a plank position and slowly lower down all the way to the ground. Inhale, take a baby cobra, peeling a couple of ribs off the mat, maybe floating the palms. Exhaling to lower. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. And then plant the palms, press up to a tabletop, and come into a child's pose, sinking your hips towards your heels, pressing your hands into the mat, and try to relax here. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Keep your left hip pulling down to the back of your mat and feel a nice stretch down the left side body. Coming back to center, then walk them over to the left side now. Feel that deep stretch coming from the right hip all the way up into the right shoulder. Move back to center and pull yourself back into a tabletop position. For this next pose, we'll want to keep our hips stacked on top of our knees, but we'll reach the right arm up overhead and then thread it underneath us. Coming to rest on your right shoulder, you can either keep your hand extended out in front of you or bring it to your low back. Notice anything happening in the right shoulder, any sensations, but also be mindful that there is not any pain. Plant the left palm, reach the right arm up to counter the pose, and then walk the hands in front of you, dropping your heart to the ground. Puppy pose or melting heart. Keep the hips stacked over the knees. Either bring the forehead or the chin to the mat. Come onto your forearms and then lift yourself into a tabletop. Extend the left arm to the sky and then weave it underneath your chest. Again, either having the right arm extended in front of you or placing it on your low back. Rise up, lift the left arm to counter, and return to tabletop. Shift your weight forward into a low plank and hold, and lower down all the way onto your belly. Bring your forearms to the mat, elbows in line with your shoulders, and lift the chest up. Plant the tops of the feet into the mat, lower back down. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Walk the fingertips up and out, and maybe straightening your elbows on the next inhale. Lower down nice and slow. Inhale, start to lift again, feeling a really deep bend into the low back. Keep the legs engaged. And very slowly lower down. Rest your forehead on the mat and breathe into your back body, feeling your ribs expand and lift. We'll take one more set. Inhale, rise up. Breathe. And on your next exhale, lower all the way down. Press into the mat with your palms and come into a child's pose. Bring your toes and your knees to touch this time. You can bring your hands behind your glutes on top of your feet and let the shoulders round forward. Whenever you're ready, come forward to tabletop, tuck the toes under, and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Pedal out the legs here. Take some time for your hamstrings to relax into this. Bend the knees as much as you need. And walk your hands to your toes. Grind a forward fold. Let your head be heavy. Shake your head yes and no. Sway side to side. Step your feet about 2 fists width apart. And stay in your forward fold, but we're going to tuck the hands underneath each foot. If this isn't comfortable, you can always wrap 2 peace fingers around your big toe. We're going to inhale to lengthen the spine, bend the knees a lot. Then exhale, lift the hips up to the sky, pull your chest towards your legs. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to start straightening those legs, pulling your chest towards your thighs. Untuck one hand at a time, grab for opposite elbows, bend the knees a lot, and just sway side to side. Plant the palms and step back to a downward facing dog. Bend the knees and lower back onto the mat. Find a wide-legged child's pose. Walk the hands forward. Bring your hands to prayer and then begin to shift your hands over your head, close to the back of your neck. Root down through the elbows and you'll feel a really deep stretch coming into the triceps. If this is ever too much in the arms, you can always lower the palms back down onto your mat. Release the hands down and lift yourself into a seated position. For our next pose, Sleeping Hero, if you have any knee sensitivities, extend your legs straight or sit your hips onto a block. Otherwise, bring your toes to touch and open your knees to at least the width of your mat. This might be enough of a stretch in your quads, or you can walk your hands behind you. Let your head fall back for Sun Worshipper. Or if you have a lot of flexibility here, you can come onto your forearms or even your back. If you notice that your knees are lifting off the ground, that's your body's way of telling you to ease out of the pose a little bit. This is a really deep stretch for the quads, even coming into the kneecaps. Be gentle with your body here, moving slowly and gradually letting your body fall into this pose. If you're all the way down on your mat, first come onto your forearms and work your way into a seated position. Come into a tabletop, tuck your toes under, lift your hips into a downward dog. Pedal it out here, let your back release. And then bring your right knee towards your right wrist, setting up for Pigeon. Untuck the back toes, staying lifted for a breath or two. And whenever you're ready, lowering down into Sleeping Pigeon, coming onto your forearms. Make sure you can relax your body here. If your right hip is lifted, use a blanket or a block to tuck under your right hip to keep it supported. Take one more full deep breath here. And start to rise up. Tuck the back toes under and come into your downward dog. Setting up for Pigeon on the left side here, bringing left knee to left wrist. Drop the hips down, untuck the back toes. Stay here in Proud Pigeon for a moment. And whenever you're ready, feel free to come into that Sleeping Pigeon. Relax into this using blocks and blankets to support you so that you can hold this pose and really soak up all of its benefits. Last full cycle of breath. And start to make your way into your proud pigeon. Tuck the back toes under, lift the hips, and find your downward dog. Lower the knees and make your way to lay down on your mat. Bend the knees, planting both feet to the ground. Extend the right leg to the sky and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Supine figure 4 shape. Pause here, press your right knee away from you, and this might be enough of a stretch. If not, you can interlace your fingers between that figure 4 shape and wrap your hands around your left hamstring. Inhale to lengthen the tailbone to the mat. Exhale, hug the knee in closer. Shoulders are rooted to the ground. Pull the left knee in line with the left shoulder. Lower the left foot to the mat, unbind the legs, and switch sides. The left leg extends up to the sky and crosses over the right leg. Pressing the left knee away from you, or lifting the right leg off the ground and interlacing your fingers around your hamstring or your shin. Lengthen the back of the neck long into the mat. Keep reaching the tailbone to the ground. If you're noticing your shoulders or your tailbone are lifting, drop the right foot back down to the ground. Unbind the legs and drop the knees over to the right side. Extend your left arm out to the side. Gaze can follow your fingertips for a full body twist. Your breath can sometimes feel a little bit restricted in these twists. Try to fill up your lungs, fill up your belly, and let go of every last drop. Lightly engage the core, lift the knees back to center, and switch sides. Gaze can come over to the right. Breathing in with those full belly breaths. Return back to center and extend your legs long to the corners of your mat. Arms lay at your sides for your final shavasana. Relax your body here. Let the toes fall out to the sides. An opening across the front of the hips. Slight tuck to the shoulders. Relax the fingers. Please feel free to pause the video and stay here for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, roll over onto your right side into a fetal position and press in with your left hand to push yourself up into a seated position where we'll close off our practice. Inhale together, reach the arms up overhead, and exhale, bring your hands to heart center, bow the head. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you and knows that they are the same. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.